Welcome to Nisreen's Art World. I'm Nisreen, a dancer and a visual artist with a background in graphic art and psychology, currently based in the US. This podcast is your gateway to a creative fusion of ideas where I explore everything from book reviews to dance analysis, all through an artistic lens, in both English and Japanese. Whether you are here for inspiration, insight, or a fresh perspective, I'm glad you're joining me on this journey. Hello, this is Nisreen. Welcome to the 5th episode of Season 3 of my podcast. It's lovely to be speaking with you again. Today, I'd like to try something a little different and share a little about the process of drawing the thumbnail art to this podcast. It was inspired by the poem Autumn Song by the French poet Paul Verlaine. When we look at the history of art, we often see connections between the visual arts and other forms of expression, such as literature, music, and dance. I'd love to explore those intersections here, and I hope you'll enjoy it. 1. Translate the feelings into color and texture. I began by reading the poem aloud and trying to feel the emotions within it. Arthur Symon's English translation goes like this. When a sign begins in the violins of the autumn song, my heart is drowned in the slow sound, languorous and long. Pale as with pain, breath fails me when the hours toll deep. My thoughts recover the days that are over, and I weep. And I go where the winds know, broken and brief, to and fro, as the winds blow a dead leaf. The first feeling you may notice in the poem is melancholy. It is not uplifting at all. Its solemnity reflects the death of summer, once full of life, symbolized by a dead leaf. The poet seems to be dwelling on the past rather than the present or the future. This led me to think of mediums with relatively dry, sharp textures such as pencils, colored pencils, ballpoint pens, and charcoal. I decided to avoid oil pastels. The sticky, heavy texture didn't match the sense of decadence I was imagining. As for color, the theme I chose immediately was sepia, a tone of nostalgia, earth, and autumn leaves. I also added violet, the color of bruises, emotional pain, and the veins beneath pale skin. 2. Research the style of the times. Autumn Song was published in 1866 in France. While sketching some Parisian landscapes, I looked into the art styles that were flourishing then. The most prominent movement to emerge at the time was symbolism, a reaction against positivism, social Darwinism, and empirical science. Instead, symbolists sought to promote a more spiritual art, often working with mythological, biblical, and literary themes. The poet Verlaine himself was closely associated with this movement. I also studied some works by Eugene Carriero, an artist of the time who embodied symbolism and even met Verlaine. His painting, Mother's Kiss, inspired me to incorporate a woman's profile into my own art with a symbolic treatment of her face and hair. A distinctive element of Carriero's work is the darkness of his backgrounds, which avoid realistic detail. For me, this enhances a sense of spiritual depth, shifting the focus away from surface reality and towards inner meaning. Finally, 3. Compose with the message. Lastly, I plan the composition so that it conveys the primary meaning of the poem. I drew the flowing hair carrying the weight in the image, as creating a dark space behind the object can create an impression of being pulled back by the past, not looking forward. By layering different colors, I aimed for an earthy, muted palette. By leaving a large blank space, I intended to create a sense of solitude as well as leaving room for the imagination. This avoidance of realistic detail is rooted not only in symbolism, but also in sumie or Chinese ink art, in which minimalism is a crucial value. As mentioned earlier, the poet lingers on the past while time pushes him towards the future, a contradiction that causes him pain. By adding abstract shapes, striking through the figure's chest, I sought to express the pain of being torn between life and emotion. The vague shape in the background was inspired by images of autumn woods in Paris I researched. Overall, I sought to capture the sense of emotional pain caused by the death of summer in a semi-abstract style inspired by symbolism. How did you find today's episode? I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider leaving a review or comment. Liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel will be more than welcome. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now.